have inside by either taking a leap of faith and starting your own business, or helping you to decide whether self-employment or entrepreneurship is the best route for you to go, or helping you to fall in love with that business you started and kind of work half-heartedly at. I'm here to share some nuggets of wisdom that I've learned on my journey in life and in business, as well as offering my coaching services to you. So many people have asked me, why'd you go into business for yourself? Where do my passion come from? What's the driving force behind my business? And or why do people start businesses at all? Aside from the obvious response, which is to make money, there are a number of reasons why people start businesses and various types of people that start businesses. So I'll just share maybe about 3 examples. First, some people have always known that they just could not conform to the perfect societal ideals of work and business. They are our beloved oddballs, our weirdos, our social butterflies, our nonconformists, our artists, and dreamers, etc. All of which I can safely say that I've held the title of at one point or another in my life. And all of which that I am proud to represent, because different is dopeness in my eyes. Those of us that are too different to fit in still have to eat. So we create our own revenue streams and decide to live the lives that we really want to live. Just to give you a few examples of some successful entrepreneurs that have actually carved out their own niche in life and created lives that they are really proud to live, would be Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, everybody knows, Bill Gates of Microsoft, Maya Angelou, who's a world-renowned writer and also a singer, Oprah Winfrey, the media guru, and the wealthiest woman in the world, Vinny Nayar, who is the CEO, who is the former CEO of HCL in India, and Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. And my new favorite, Jen Sincero, who is an author, public speaker, and badass extraordinaire. So there are also some amazingly talented people who've always been complimented on their talents, and starting their own business was just a natural and pretty logical step for them to take. So these are people like your local hairstylist or barber who just slay like no other and keep you laced to perfection. Your local craftsman or your carpenter who create these unique pieces that just complement your home so well. Or the painter whose art is like wall jewelry and makes your rooms come alive. Then there are those who focus on injustices and have the strong desire to affect change in the world. So they erect businesses, great or small, that meet the needs of those underserved. Some of these businesses are like Hosea, Feed the Homeless in Oakland City, or the Atlanta Community Food Bank right off of Bankhead, Safe House Outreach, which is on Ellis Avenue downtown, the City of Refuge on Simpson Road, or now known as Joseph E. Boone, the Salvation Army, you've got Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent's de Paul. All of these charities are located in Atlanta, so if you find it in your heart, please do donate time and or money to any one of these businesses whose model is centered around helping people. I've outlined businesses in the for-profit world and both the nonprofit world as well. And I'd just like to give you just a little bit food for thought so that you know what it takes to actually start a business and what it takes to be successful in business. So there are two types of for-profit businesses. The first is a sole proprietorship, and I'll use the example of my company, Love and Life, to kind of give you a little bit more detail. So I'm a life coach, and I have the skills to coach individuals through difficult times in their lives, as well as help them to identify their strengths and how to capitalize on them. I provide services not only to individuals, but also to companies that are looking to take their companies to greater levels of success. The challenge in this type of business is actually getting a steady stream of clientele. It requires a lot of marketing. It requires a lot of outreach on that individual's behalf. But the key to my success in Love and Life is the fact that I am the only person in the world that can do what I do in the way that I do. That knowing is what inspires me to continue doing what I do on a daily basis, and that knowing is also what should inspire you to continue doing what you do. The second type of for-profit business is what you call a startup business. And I actually have a startup company called Health Check Technologies. Entrepreneurs in the startup phase of business usually find partners who believe in their vision and their mission, and they actually join the team because they add some value in the area of skills and or connections. And this team of co-preneurs kind of spend a lot of time proving their concept and going through a process called customer discovery, where they actually validate their ideas by surveying and trying out their products and services on a number of willing participants. They're tasked with making numerous iterations to their product and or service, and they're often met with rejection from so many others, because sometimes people just don't believe in your vision. They have to go out and they have to find investors, and they have to pitch their business concept to sometimes hundreds of prospective investors just to get that one yes. However, they have an unwavering belief in their ability and a knowing that their venture comes from a power that is much greater than they are, and it must be pursued. You may be one of these people. And to you, I say, trust in the voice that speaks from within. The one that doesn't allow you to rest until you have done just one more thing to add to your business. The one that does not require the approval of others and has you willing to stand alone and stand out. Entrepreneurs can attest to how lonely it is, but they'll also tell you that they wouldn't have it any other way. The nonprofit sector is just a little bit different when it comes to the revenue. Unlike a for-profit business where you can actually make profits, the nonprofit revenue stream is derived from donors and or grants. And they will only make a salary. The funds that they actually bring into their organization are restricted to the use of their programs. So they're not able to actually allot any funding to anything outside of the programs and services that they provide specifically. Though they're different in revenue generating structures, the nonprofit entrepreneur is much like the for-profit entrepreneur in that he or she too has a passion to establish partnerships, create opportunities, affect change, or solve a problem. And they too have to be willing to listen to that inner voice. God, the universe, creator, Allah, your spiritual guide, your intuition, or whatever name you may see fit. Success in business is not much different than success in life. You must take time to focus on those things that you deem to be important And you have to be willing to let go of all things that do not serve you well. You must be able to say no unapologetically so that you can say yes to what adds great value. You must make failure your friend and embrace it as an indicator of which direction to go. Your faith must be unwavering, and you must know that everything will always work out the way that it's supposed to. You must have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, yet leave room for the great orchestrator to guide and lead you. I mentioned these business types and personalities not only to give you a point of reference, but to also let you know that I am a subject matter expert in all three types of businesses: self-employment, nonprofit, and for-profit businesses. And I can help you to find your home in any one of these three. So how many of you know that there's a difference, or have already known that there was a difference between self-employment and entrepreneurship? Yeah? So I'll define them for you. Entrepreneurship has traditionally been defined as the process of designing, launching, and running a business, which typically begins as a small business, such as a startup company, offering a product, process, or service for sale or hire. And the people who do this are called entrepreneurs. Not to be confused with self-employment. Self-employment is a situation in which an individual works for himself instead of working for an employer that pays a salary or a wage. A self-employed individual earns his profit from a trade or a business that he operates directly. So the founder of Train Heating and Air, which we might have called on these past few days because it was really cold, they're the entrepreneur. My cousin, who's decided to no longer work for Train Heating and Air and actually start doing his own HVAC, providing HVAC services to people, he would be self-employed. The founder of Home Depot or Lowe's, entrepreneur. Your local craftsman, self-employed. Jay-Z, the founder of Rockefeller Records, Tidal and Rockaware, entrepreneur. My man on the come up, on his way to earning a record deal, doing shows and selling CDs out of his trunk, or putting his music on SoundCloud.com, self-employed. Sasha Green, the co-founder of Health Check Technologies, Inc., and CheckPro, entrepreneur. Sasha Green, the owner of Love and Life Essentials, self-employed. Which one are you? If you're unsure, come talk to me. I'm here. I'm open to answering any questions, and I'd love to talk to any one of you. Thank you so much, and I hope that the universe blesses you abundantly.